Tonight, I would like to take you on the longest journey there is. Not a journey through space, a journey through time. All of it, from this quiet moment right now, all the way to the very end, to the last moment of the universe itself. It's a journey almost beyond imagining. For the future of the cosmos is long. So unimaginably long that the whole history of the universe so far, all 13.5 billion years of it, is less than the first tick of the first second of the story we are about to tell. We are going to travel down that whole long river of time, slowly and gently, and without any hurry at all. We will watch the sun grow old and die. We will watch the stars, one by one, begin to fade. We will see the last light in the universe flicker out, and the long reign of the black holes, and even, in the end, their quiet passing too. And we will arrive, at last, at the end of time, at a universe grown vast and cold and perfectly still. Now I know how that sounds. It sounds as though it should be a sad journey or a frightening one. A story about endings and darkness and death. But I promise you, it is not. For the strange and beautiful thing about this journey is that it does not end in fear. It ends in peace, in the deepest, quietest, most complete peace there is. Because when you truly feel the vastness of time, something gentle happens. All the worries of this small day grow very quiet. All the things that press on you and trouble you and keep you awake shrink down to their true size against the immense and patient calm of the cosmos. And the great darkness at the end of everything turns out to feel not like a loss, but like a rest. A vast, final, perfect rest that the whole universe is slowly, gently drifting toward, just as you are tonight. So settle in. Turn the lights down low. There's nothing you need to do and nowhere you need to be. We have all the time in the world and then very much more. Just rest and listen and let the long river of time carry you gently off to sleep. Before we set out, there are two small things, and then I promise I will not ask anything of you again. First, if you enjoy these quiet journeys through the deep wonders of the universe, you can subscribe and the next one will simply find you wherever you are, whenever you next need to sleep. And second, a small invitation for while you are still awake. There is some great question about the cosmos, or about time, or about how it all began, or how it all ends, that you have always quietly wondered about. Leave it in the comments below, and on some future night I may take it apart, gently, and carry you off to sleep on the wonder of it. And if you are listening from somewhere far away, a different country, a different time zone, a room I will never see, tell me where you are. We are all, tonight, travelling down the same river of time, together. One last thing. If by some small miracle you are still awake when we reach the very end of time, at the end of this, leave the word forever in the comments, so I know who made it all the way there. Though I rather doubt you will. That, after all, is the whole point. Now, let us begin where all journeys begin. Here, tonight, at the very start of the long, long future. Let us begin here, in this moment, the one we are living in right now. Above you, tonight, if you could see past the roof and the clouds and the glow of the cities, there is a sky full of stars. Thousands of them blazing away. Our own sun, just set, one of those stars, quietly burning. The great river of the Milky Way, arching across the dark, a universe in the fullness of its life, bright and warm and busy with light. This is the age of stars, and to us it feels like the natural state of things. The way the universe simply is and always has been and always will be, a cosmos full of suns. But it is not the natural state of things. It is a phase. Chapter, a particular and rather early moment in a story that runs on almost forever. We happen to live in the bright morning of the universe, in the age when the stars shine. And because it is the only age we have ever known, we imagine it is the whole of the story, but it is only the beginning. The first warm, well-lit chapter of a tale that grows slowly, quieter and darker and stranger than we can easily imagine. So let us begin to travel forward into that future. And we will start close to home, with the fate of our own star and our own small world. For the first great change in our journey is one that will happen, in a sense, right here. The sun that warms us and the earth beneath our feet. Billions of years from now, but as certain as tomorrow's dawn. Let us go there first and watch the sun grow old. Our sun is middle-aged, a calm, steady yellow star about halfway through its life. It has been shining, gently, for around 4.5 billion years, and it has roughly that long again still to go. So we are in no hurry. Let us drift forward, slowly, billions of years at a time. As the sun ages, it will slowly grow brighter and warmer. So gradually that no one alive in any single lifetime would ever notice. But over the vast stretches of time it adds up. And in 1 billion years or so, the sun will have grown hot enough that the earth, our gentle blue-green world, will become too warm for the life it holds now. The oceans will slowly rise into the air, and the world would change beyond recognition. And then, some billions of years further on, the sun will begin to die in earnest. And its death is a strange and spectacular thing. For when a star like our sun runs low on the fuel at its heart, it does not simply fade. It swells. It billows outward enormously, growing into a vast, bloated red giant, swelling out and out until it is many times its old size, so large that it swallows the closest little worlds entirely and fills the sky of the earth, if anyone were there to see it, with a wall of dim red fire. Try for a moment to picture that sky. The sun, no longer a small, bright disk you cannot look at, but an immense, swollen, sullen red thing filling half the heavens. Dim enough at its cooler red surface that you might almost gaze at it. Vast enough to swallow the morning and the evening whole. The gentle yellow sun of our own days, grown old and huge and red in the last act of its long life. It is worth remembering as we watch this how slow it all is. We are speaking of changes that unfold across hundreds of millions of years. No living thing would ever witness the swelling as an event. It would be slower than the drift of continents, slower than anything a creature could feel, just the vast, patient, unstoppable aging of a star playing out over spans of time that dwarf the whole of life's history on Earth. And then, at the very end, the dying sun will gently let go of its outer layers, breathing them off softly into space in great glowing shells of gas that drift outward like smoke rings, lit from within. One of the loveliest things in all the cosmos, the quiet, luminous exhale of a dying star. And when the last of that gas has drifted away, What is left behind at the center is small, just the burnt-out core of the star. A dense, hot ember about the size of a small planet called a white dwarf, the glowing cinder of a sun. That is how our sun will end. Not with a bang, but with a swelling and a sigh and a slow cooling into his cinder. And that same fate awaits most of the stars you can see in the sky tonight. There is something almost peaceful in it when you sit with it. No violence, no catastrophe. Just a star growing old gracefully and breathing itself out into the dark and leaving behind a quiet, cooling ember to drift on through the ages. A gentle ending for the star that gave us everything. But the death of one sun is only the smallest step in our journey. For while all this happens to our star, something far larger is unfolding across the whole sky. Let us pull back now, away from our single dying star, to see the whole of our galaxy. The great wheel of the Milky Way with its hundreds of billions of suns. Because as the sun lives out its long life, our entire galaxy is drifting, slowly, toward a neighbor. There is another great galaxy not so far away, called Andromeda. A vast spiral, much like our own. And it is falling, gently, toward us, or we toward it. Across the immense gulf between them, the two galaxies are drawing closer, pulled together by their own gravity at a stately, unhurried pace. And in a few billion years they will meet. Now, when two galaxies collide, it is not the crash you might imagine. It is one of the gentlest, violent things there is. For the stars within a galaxy are so far apart, with such vast, empty distances between them, that when two galaxies pass through one another, almost no stars actually strike each other. They simply slide past, through the great gaps like two clouds of gnats merging in the evening air, barely touching. But over millions of years the two galaxies will dance around one another, their shapes pulled and stretched by gravity into great glowing streamers and arcs. And slowly, slowly, they will settle together, merging into a single, larger galaxy, the two great spirals becoming one. If anyone were alive to watch it over those millions of years, it would be the most beautiful sight in the history of the sky. Two galaxies slowly folding into one, filling the night with light and motion. A slow and silent merging, unfolding over a time longer than anything a human mind can truly hold. Picture the night sky midway through that dance. Andromeda, no longer a faint smudge, but a second great river of stars sprawling across the heavens beside our own. The two of them stretched into vast, glowing arcs and streamers by their pull on one another. New stars kindling in the churning gas in great bright bursts. The whole sky alive with slow, silent, luminous motion. A sight no human eye will ever see, playing out across a stage so wide and so slow that 1,000 human lifetimes would show you almost none of it. And it is worth remembering as we watch that this is a merging, not a destruction. Nothing is really lost. The two galaxies do not shatter one another, they join. Two become one, larger and richer than either was alone. Even here, in this great collision, the universe is not tearing itself apart, but gently gathering itself together. And this too is happening all across the universe, wherever galaxies drift close enough to feel one another's pull. The great structures of the cosmos slowly rearranging themselves, merging and settling as the long ages pass. But even this is early days in our journey. For now we come to the great, slow turning of the whole cosmic story. The long, gradual fading of the stars themselves. Here is a thing about stars that is easy to forget. They do not last forever. Every star that shines is burning through a finite store of fuel, and one day, each of them will run out. The biggest, brightest, hottest stars, the brilliant blue-white ones, burn through their fuel fastest of all. They live short, dazzling lives and die young in great explosions. They are already, in a sense, the first to go. Our own sun, a middling star, lasts far longer, billions upon billions of years. But the true champions of endurance are the smallest stars. The little red dwarfs, dim and cool and frugal, that we have spoken of on another night. They burn their fuel so slowly, so gently, that they can shine for trillions of years, far, far longer than the universe has yet existed. So the fading of the stars is not a sudden thing. It's a slow, slow dimming, spread across an almost unimaginable stretch of time. Let me try to give you a feeling for how long. The universe right now is about 13 billion years old. And the age of starlight, from the first stars to the very last, is thought to last not for billions of years, but for something like 100 trillion. 100 trillion years. The number is so large it means almost nothing to us. If you tried to count it out, 1 year every second you would still be counting when the real stars had long since died. It is a span of time so vast that the entire present age of the universe, all of cosmic history so far, is less than a rounding error within it. We are living in the first faint moments of a very, very long day. Travel forward with me then, past the death of our sun, past 1 trillion years, past the point where the last of the bright stars have gone, and on into an age when only the dim red dwarfs remain, glowing faintly here and there across a darkening sky. The sky by now would be almost unrecognizable. Gone are the brilliant blue-white stars, gone the steady yellow suns like ours. What remains is a scattering of dim, deep red points, cool and faint, growing sparser as the ages pass. A dim red dusk where once there was a blaze of colour. The sky slowly, slowly going out. And then further still, to the time when even those long-lived little stars begin at last to flicker out. One by one, over the ages, the last stars in the universe cool and dim and go dark. And there comes a moment, almost impossibly far in the future, when the last star of all gives its final light. The very last star. Flickering, cooling and going out, and with it, the age of starlight, that great bright chapter we live in now, comes quietly to its end. Imagine that. A universe with no more stars. The great cosmic morning over at last, and the long evening begun. A sky gone dark everywhere, forever. There is a solemnity in that moment, the going out of the last star. But remember, as we pass it, how unthinkably far away it is. So far that the whole of human history, all of it, from the first fire to this very night, is not even the faintest flicker at the very beginning of the story. The last star will not go out for a length of time so vast that it barely belongs to the same reality as your life, or mine, or anyone's. But the universe is not empty, even then. For the darkness is full of the quiet remains of the stars that once were. When the stars have all gone out, the universe enters a new and stranger age. a long dark age lit only by embers. For the stars do not simply vanish when they die, they leave things behind. The quiet corpses of stars scattered through the dark. There are the white dwarfs, like the one our own sun will become. Glowing cinders, slowly cooling. There are the neutron stars, the incredibly dense hearts of the greatest stars that collapsed when they died. Tiny and impossibly heavy, a whole sun's worth of matter packed into a ball you could almost walk across. And there are the black holes, which we will come to, the strangest remains of all. In this age, the universe is a vast, dark, cold place, scattered with the cooling embers of the stars that once lit it. The white dwarfs glowing ever more faintly, radiating away the last of their heat into the surrounding cold, growing dimmer and dimmer over unimaginable stretches of time. And slowly, over ages beyond counting, even those embers cool. The white dwarfs fade from white to yellow, to a dull red, to a deep, dim, invisible cold. Becoming, at the last, black dwarfs, dead cinders, giving off no light at all. So slow is this cooling that not a single one has had time to happen yet in all the age of the universe so far. It belongs entirely to the deep future. It is a quiet age, a still age. A universe of cold, dark, drifting remnants in a silence and a darkness almost complete. But there is a gentleness in it too, if you let yourself feel it. The frantic business of the bright young universe, all that burning and colliding and blazing, is over. What remains is calm, cooling, settling, slowly, toward rest. And through all of this long, dark age, the universe keeps doing the one thing it has always done. Keeps expanding. Growing ever larger and emptier and colder, carrying its scattered embers ever further apart. There is something happening all through our journey in the background. Quiet and steady and profound. The universe is expanding. We have spoken of this before on the night of the dark universe. Space itself is stretching everywhere, all the time, carrying the galaxies ever further apart, and, driven by that mysterious dark energy, this expansion is not slowing, it is speeding up. And this has a strange and rather lonely consequence for the deep future. As the ages pass and the expansion accelerates, the distant galaxies are carried away from us faster and faster, until one far day they are receding so quickly that their light can no longer cross the growing gulf to reach us at all. And one by one, over immense stretches of time, the distant galaxies simply fade from view, slipping away beyond the edge of the seeable into a darkness we can never look into. Far in the future, any watchers left in our own small corner of the cosmos would find their sky grown lonely. The countless other galaxies gone, vanished beyond reach, leaving only our own local family of stars and remnants adrift in a darkness that stretches, empty, in every direction, further than any light can ever travel again. The universe, in a sense, is slowly closing itself off. Each island of matter left more and more alone as the great dark spaces between them grow and grow beyond all crossing. There is a loneliness in that, yes, but there is also a strange peace. The universe growing quiet and simple and still. The endless complexity of the bright young cosmos slowly resolving into something vast and calm and almost empty. Think of how a great busy city sounds at the height of the day. The noise, the motion, the endless activity. And think of how that same city sounds in the deepest part of the night, when almost everything has gone quiet and still, and the streets are empty, and a great peace settles over everything. The universe is doing the same, moving over the ages from the bright, busy noise of its youth toward the deep, quiet stillness of its long night. And there is nothing tragic in that quiet. It is the natural calm that comes when a long and busy day is finally over, and everything at last grows still. And in that emptying universe, as the embers fade, one kind of object remains. The last great powers of the cosmos. The black holes, and they are about to inherit the universe. Now our journey enters its longest, strangest, and darkest age of all. The age of the black holes. Long after the last star has died, and the last ember has cooled, the universe belongs to them. For black holes endure. They are the most stubborn things in all the cosmos. A black hole, as you may know, is a place where matter has collapsed so completely that its gravity is beyond all escape. Not even light can climb out. And so it sits, dark and silent, a bottomless well in the fabric of space, swallowing anything that drifts too near. In the deep future, the black holes grow vast. Over the ages they draw in the dead stars, the cold embers, the scattered remnants, and one another, merging into greater and greater black hole. Until, at the center of each old, dark galaxy, there sits a single, enormous black hole, having swallowed much of what remains. And these great black holes rule the universe for a span of time so long that it makes everything before it seem like an eye blink. The whole age of stars, from the first light to the last, is nothing beside the reign of the black holes. They sit in the dark, silent and patient, and almost eternal, for a length of time with so many zeros that the number has no name and no meaning to a human mind. Let us try, just once, to feel the scale of it, and then let it go. The age of stars lasts perhaps 100 trillion years. That is a 14, with 13 zeros after it, already far beyond feeling. The reign of the black holes lasts not for trillions of years, but for a number of years you would write as a 1, followed by 100 zeros. 100 zeros. There is no way to picture that. It is not simply longer than the age of stars. It is so much longer that the entire age of stars, that 100 trillion years, is less than the tiniest sliver of the very beginning of it. If the reign of the black holes were a single day, all the ages of starlight before it would be gone in less than the blink of an eye at the first instant after midnight. That is the kind of time we are speaking of now. Time so vast that the words long and old and ancient simply give up and lose all meaning. The black holes do not just last a long time, they last beyond the reach of the very idea of a long time. It is the quietest kingdom imaginable. A vast, black, empty universe, cold almost to the ultimate cold, scattered with silent black holes drifting further and further apart in a darkness that is very nearly perfect. Almost nothing happens. For ages upon ages upon ages. Just the black holes waiting in the dark, and the slow, endless expansion of the empty space around them. You might think that this is the end. A universe of eternal black holes in eternal dark. But it is not. For even the black holes, the most enduring things in all creation, do not last forever. Even they, in the end, gently fade away. Here is one of the most astonishing ideas in all of science. And it was worked out by a physicist you may have heard of who thought very deeply about these darkest of objects. Black holes are not quite completely black. It turns out that at the very edge of a black hole, through a subtle and strange effect of the deepest laws of physics, the tiniest trickle of energy can escape. A faint glow, almost impossibly dim. A whisper of radiation leaking away from the edge of the dark. And this means that a black hole, ever so slowly, loses energy, evaporates, gives itself away a tiny trickle at a time into the surrounding cold. Now this happens so slowly that it is almost beyond belief. For a great black hole, the kind that sits at the heart of a galaxy, to evaporate away entirely would take a length of time so vast that our biggest numbers cannot hold it. A number of years so long that if you wrote a 0 for every star in the sky, you would not have nearly enough zeros. The reign of the black holes is measured in spans like these. But the universe by now has all the time there could ever be. And slowly, unimaginably slowly, the black holes shrink, giving themselves away atom by atom of energy into the dark, growing smaller over ages beyond all counting. And at the very end of a black hole's long life, as it grows small at last, it fades faster and faster, and finishes, after all that near eternity, with a final, faint flicker. A last soft flourish of light, as the very last of it evaporates away, and it is gone. One by one, over spans of time that dwarf all the ages before them, the great black holes wink out. Vast, most enduring structures in the universe, gently evaporating into the dark. Until at last, even they are gone. And now the universe is truly, almost empty. So here we are, almost at the end of our journey, in the age that will last longer than all the others put together. Longer, in truth, than forever means to us. The long dark. The stars are gone. The embers are gone. The black holes are gone. And what remains is almost nothing at all. Just a thin scattering of the last few particles of light and matter, drifting impossibly far apart through a space grown so vast and so empty and so cold that it is hard to find words for it. A single particle, and then, unthinkable distances away, another, alone in the dark, in a universe that has spread itself out almost to nothing. The universe has grown cold as it is possible to be. Sinking toward the ultimate cold, the lowest temperature there can ever be, where all warmth, all motion, all activity gently ceases. This is what is sometimes called the heat death of the universe, though it is not a death by heat, but by the loss of it. The universe run all the way down. Everything that could happen, having happened. All the energy that could be spent. Nothing left to drive any change at all. Perfect, final, endless stillness. Nothing burns. Nothing moves. Nothing changes. There is no more heat to flow, no more light to shine, no more anything to happen. Just the vast, cold, silent dark, stretching on, unchanging, forever. We have reached, as near as we can, the end of time. Not a wall, not a stop, not a bang, but a fading, a settling, a universe grown so quiet and so still that time itself, in a sense, loses all meaning, for there is nothing left to mark its passing. And here, at the end of everything, I want to stop and sit with you in this final darkness and ask gently what we are to make of it. So there it is. the whole future of the universe laid out before us. From the bright morning we live in now, all the way down to the final, endless dark. And I promised you at the start that this would not be a sad journey. That it would end not in fear but in peace. Let me try now to tell you why I believe that is true. Because when you first hear this story, it can sound bleak. The stars going out, the great dark, the end of all things. It sounds like the saddest story there is. But sit with it a little longer, and something shifts. For think of how far away all of this is. The death of the sun is billions of years off. The fading of the last stars, trillions of years beyond that. The end of the black holes, a span of time so vast that the whole present age of the universe is less than a single heartbeat within it. None of this is coming for you. None of it is coming for anyone you love, or anyone they will ever love, or anyone at all, for an almost infinite stretch of time. It is so far away that it barely belongs to the same reality as your life at all. And there is a strange comfort in that vastness. For against the immense calm of all that time, your worries tonight grow very small. The things that press on you, the things left undone, the small frets of this small day, set against the whole long life of the cosmos, they soften and shrink and lose their sting. Not because they do not matter, but because you are held within something so much larger and so much calmer than any of them. Think of how it feels to stand at the edge of the sea, or beneath a sky full of stars on a clear, dark night. There is a particular kind of peace that comes over us in the presence of something vast. Our troubles do not vanish, but they find their proper size. They stop filling the whole of our attention and settle back into a world that is so much bigger than they are. That is what the deep future offers us tonight. A vastness even greater than the sea or the sky. The whole immense sweep of time, stretching on for ages beyond ages, calm and patient and unhurried. And within it, your one small night, your one small set of cares, held gently and put softly into perspective. Whatever is troubling you tonight will not trouble the universe. The stars will burn on for billions of years untroubled. The great slow settling of the cosmos will continue, calm and sure, whatever happens in your small day. And there is a deep relief in that, in knowing that you do not have to hold the whole world up, that you are a small, held thing in a vast and patient universe, and that you are allowed tonight simply to rest. And there is more. For the great darkness at the end is not, I think, a thing to fear. It is a rest. Think of what the end of the universe actually is. It's not a catastrophe, not a fire or a crash or a violence. It is a settling, a quieting, a slow, gentle coming to rest after the longest and busiest of days. The universe began in unimaginable fury, a blaze of heat and speed and violence. And across all the long ages we have travelled tonight, it has been slowly, steadily calming down, cooling, slowing, settling, spending its great energies and easing gradually towards stillness. The end of the universe is simply the moment when that settling is complete, when everything that was rushing and burning and striving has finally come to rest. When the great long day of the cosmos is over and the whole of creation lies down, at last, in the quiet. There is nothing frightening in that. It is the most natural thing there is. It is what every day does when it ends. is what you are doing right now tonight, coming to rest after the striving of the day, letting the busyness fall quiet, settling gently into the dark, towards sleep. The universe is doing the very same thing, only very, very slowly. It is falling asleep. Across trillions upon trillions of years, the great bright cosmos is slowly closing its eyes and letting go of all its fire and settling into a rest that is deep and complete and final. And you are a part of that universe, made of its atoms, born of its stars, carried along in its great, slow settling. When you lie down at the end of your day and let the busyness fall quiet and drift towards sleep, you are not doing something separate from the cosmos. You are doing exactly what the whole universe is doing on its own vast and patient scale. You are one small part of creation coming to rest as all of creation comes to rest. There is a deep peace in feeling yourself a part of that, in knowing that the rest you seek tonight is the same rest that the whole universe is drifting toward. That to lie down and let go and grow quiet is not to fail or to end, but to do the most natural thing in all of creation, to settle as everything settles, to rest as everything in the end will rest. So do not fear the great quiet at the end of time, and do not fear the small quiet that is coming for you now as you drift towards sleep. They are the same gentle thing, the settling of a busy day into a peaceful night. The universe is not afraid of its rest. It moves toward it calmly over the ages, without struggle, without fear. And you can move toward yours in the same way, calmly, gently, without fear. Letting the day go. Letting the light dim. Settling softly into the quiet, along with everything that is and everything that ever will be. There is one more thought I want to give you before we let the journey go, and it is perhaps the most important of all. We have travelled tonight to the cold, dark end of everything, and you might think that this makes our own bright moment seem small and pointless against all that emptiness to come. But I think it is exactly the opposite. For consider, out of the whole vast future of the universe, almost all of it dark and cold and empty, you happen to be alive now. In the brief, bright morning, in the one short chapter when there are stars and warmth and light and life, in the tiny, precious window when the universe is awake and full and glowing. Do you know how rare that is? How astonishingly, impossibly lucky to exist not in the endless dark that makes up almost all of time, but here, in the fleeting brightness at the very beginning. To be alive while the stars are still shining. Think of it this way. If you could lay out the whole future of the universe as a single, endless day, then the age of stars, the whole bright chapter with suns and warmth and light, would be over in the very first fraction of the very first second of each. All the rest of that endless day, hour upon hour, year upon year of it, would be dark. And you are here, in that first bright fraction of a second. Not in the endless dark that follows where almost all of time is spent, but in the one brief, glowing instant when the lights are on. Of all the moments you could have been given, you were given one of the rarest and the brightest there will ever be. The darkness at the end does not make your moment meaningless. It makes it precious. Precious the way anything rare and brief and beautiful is precious. A sunset, a snowfall, a single perfect day, precious precisely because it will not last. We do not grieve a sunset for ending. We love it because it is brief. Its beauty and its brevity are the same thing. And so it is with this bright age of the universe and with your own small life within it. It is beautiful, and it is fleeting, and those are not two separate facts. They are one. The brightness is precious because it is rare. You are living in the golden hour of the universe, the warm, brief, shining time before the long night comes. And that is not a cause for sorrow, it is a cause for wonder and for gratitude. So when you feel small, against the vastness of time, remember this. You were not born into the dark. You were born into the light, into the rarest and most wonderful chapter of the whole long story. And whatever else is true, you are here, now, awake, alive, beneath the stars, in the brief, bright morning of everything. That is a gift almost beyond measuring. And it is yours tonight. Let us look back now at the whole of the journey we have made, the entire river of time from end to end. We began here tonight in the age of stars, in the bright morning of the cosmos. We watched the sun swell and die and cool to a cinder. We watched two great galaxies fold slowly into one. We watched the stars over trillions of years flicker out one by one, till the last light of all went dark. We drifted through the long age of embers and the emptying of the sky as the galaxies slipped away beyond all seeing. We watched the black holes inherit the universe and reign in silence for ages beyond all counting. And we watched even them, at the last, gently evaporate into the dark. And we came, at the end, to the long, cold, perfect stillness. Great rest at the end of everything. It's the longest story there is. And it is, in its own vast and quiet way, a beautiful one. A story of a universe that blazed into being and burned brightly for a while, and then slowly, over unimaginable ages, settled gently down into rest. And you do not need to remember any of it. Not the sun, not the galaxies, not the black holes, not the long dark. Let all of it soften and blur and drift away. That was never the point. The point is only the feeling it leaves behind, the sense of vastness, the smallness of our worries against all that time, the peace of the great settling, and the quiet wonder of being here, now alive, in the bright and precious morning of it all. So let us come back now, gently, from the end of time, all the way back down the long river to here, to this room, this night, this moment. You resting in the dark. You are a small, warm, living thing in the bright morning of a vast and ancient universe. And that universe is calm. It is patient. It is in no hurry at all. It has all the time there could ever be, and it is spending it slowly, gently, without fear, drifting toward its own deep rest. And you can let yourself be held in that calm. Tonight. You can let the vastness of it all soften the sharp edges of your day. You can let the great patience of the cosmos become your patience. You can let the deep, coming rest of the whole universe become, for you, right now, simply the rest of a good night's sleep. There is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to solve, or finish, or fear. The stars will shine for billions of years yet. The universe will take care of its long, slow settling without any help from you. And all that is asked of you tonight is to rest. To be one small, peaceful part of a universe that is itself slowly learning to rest. Close your eyes and let go and settle gently into the dark, just as everything does. Just as everything in the fullness of time will. You are safe. You are held. You are here in the bright morning, with all the long ages still ahead, and there is nothing to do now but rest. So let the journey rest now as the night grows deep. We have travelled to the end of time and back again. And here we are, once more, beneath the quiet stars of tonight, which are still shining, which will go on shining for billions and billions of years to come. There is nothing left for you to do tonight. No journey left to make. No ending to fear. No time to keep. The story is told and the stars are turning softly overhead and the rain is falling gently in the dark. If any of this stayed with you, and you would like another quiet journey through the wonders of the cosmos, to carry you off to sleep on another night, it is already waiting for you. You do not have to do anything at all, just subscribe quietly and let the next one find you. And now let your thoughts go loose. Let the stars drift. Let the long river of time flow on without you. Let the sound of these words become just a soft texture in the dark, like the rain, like the slow, calm breathing of a universe settling over endless ages toward its rest, and you settling with it toward yours. Breathe in gently, and breathe out. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to carry into tomorrow. All the time in the world is ahead, and none of it is needed now. Just rest, as the stars rest, as the universe in the end will rest. Just now. Night.